So let's get talking. I have joining me tonight on this matter, Mr. Onyekachi Ubani, former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association. He practices here in Lagos. Thank you so much, Mr. Onyekachi Ubani, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sheikh, for having me.
And from our Abuja studio is the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight. Perhaps I should begin with...
Thank you for inviting me, and viewers, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. So let's begin the conversation. Mr. Ubani, you are interested in this matter.
Yes.
You told me that you are also from Abia State. Yes. So your state is also... Interestingly, Honorable Kalu too is from Abia State. So let me begin by asking you, did the minister provide names in that letter that was transmitted to the National Assembly? And can you confirm to us that this is the same letter, a copy of the letter transmitted to the National Assembly?
Sheikh, we have been following all the proceedings of the House concerning the Niger Delta Development Commission, especially the so-called investigation. And I watched the minister where he was saying, look, he is not against payment of contract that have been duly executed. And most of the people that benefit are members of the National Assembly. At that point, the chairman that was presiding was saying, Honorable Minister, it is okay. Of course, it has become, a funny game now. Honorable Minister, it's okay, off the mic. At that point, he said, won't you allow me to say? Of course, the man said it is okay. And then the speaker now came to preside over the House in order to give the minister, Honorable Minister, 48 hours within which to produce the details of the so-called contract, in which members were involved. And he did. Within 48 hours, that was a very short time within which to do all the comprehensive thing that he had to do. But because the House has to be respected, the President has actually asked all the honorable ministers and all the government agencies to respect the House. And he did. Comply by writing, and then giving the list of those members that have been beneficiary, both old and new.
So when you
because what I did.
So let's make it clear for Nigerians.
Yes.
Millions of people are watching.
Yes.
And when the House came up on that day, it does look like the minister exonerated them, that the National Assembly, the lawmakers do not benefit. It came across as though the minister recanted on what he said earlier. So from the document presented, is it true that lawmakers were benefiting?
I must tell you that when I read, the account of Honorable Goswin Akpabio recanting, I was a bit disappointed because almost all the papers had the same headline. The same headline, meaning that it was like one editor wrote the same headline for all the newspapers. But when I now say, let me do my investigation, why would he come up openly with so much boldness and say, I have information concerning the complicity of members of the House with issue of contract of NDDC, and now says it's recounted? That cannot be very honorable. My findings was that this honorable minister sent a letter with attachment to the names of members of this present House, especially the two committee chairmen, both in the Senate and Federal House of Reps, that were involved in contract racketeering in NDDC. And those was not brought to the attention of the House. Right. The letter that was read was a certain paragraph that was very beneficial, and then they were all clapping and rejoicing, whereas the letter itself had a comprehensive account of annexures that indicated names that were clearly involved in contracting in the NDDC.
Mr. Ubani, just a moment. Let's allow the spokesperson of the House to clarify to us. Honorable Kalu, if you also can confirm to us from what we showed earlier on, that the letter transmitted to the National Assembly from the office of the minister, does that letter carry attachments?
The issue is not whether or not the letter carries attachment. The issue is, what are we looking at? Why this diversionary approach to what we are looking at? We are looking at Nigerians are interested in 81.5 billion that is missing. That is what Nigerians are interested in. The motion that was before the House had a scope. In every motion that is moved in the House, there is a limit. It is not universal, it is not without end. The motion says investigate the activities of the IMC between January and May. And the motion mentioned 81.5, 40 billion. It was during the investigation we found out that it was actually 81.5 billion. So going outside the scope will be distracting Nigerians. Our eyes remains on the money. And what is the money? The money is certain amount that was spent from January to now need to be accounted for. Now, to be fair to the Honorable Minister, who has been a member of the National Assembly, he responded within 48 hours. But that was after the Speaker had made his speech with regards to the unavailability of his letter and also the publication that we had expected him to make. Now, when he presented his letter, I have with me here the original copy of the letter, not copies, original, signed by the minister himself. I don't know what my learned colleague, senior learned colleague there read when he said, when I went through the account of the minister. I don't know, I'm going to take you through the annexures from one to the other. And also you, when you accuse the speaker of reading some paragraph and leaving some paragraph, which I doubt because I was there during the plenary. You, now that you read it to Nigerians, you failed to read paragraph 7, where the minister clearly exonerated everybody. And that is the concluding paragraph of this letter. And if you allow me, I will read it. It says, permit me to explain that my reference to 50% or 60% during the investigative hearing was in answer to a question by an honorable member of the committee as to whether or not a medical doctor could act as an executive director of projects within the confines of NDDC Act. I answered in affirmative, pointing out that the greatest project in the world today is COVID pandemic in the medical nature, and it's in the medical nature. Furthermore, I am made to understand that 50 to 60% of NDDC yearly budgets are medical in nature. Therefore, it is fitting for a medical doctor to act as executive. He has already, retracted his statement by this paragraph. So, going back again, you cannot appropriate and reprobate, and you cannot appropriate and reprobate at the same time. Going back to say, minister gave you annexures. Let me tell you what the annexure is all about. I have here the annexures. The original annexure submitted by the minister. It cannot be anything further than what I'm holding. I have the original document submitted by the minister. And guess what? The column that people refer to and say he listed names. What you will see there, you will see EDP, EDFA project. Who was project source? EDFA. Does it mean that EDFA was the one that got the award of the contract? You go to another page, you see the chairman. You see chairman of NDDC. You go to another page, you see this under the same column, you see MD of NDDC. And then you see the page that they are referring to is only 2 members of the National Assembly in the previous assembly 2018 project. What we are referring to here, the document he submitted is 2018. Remember that our investigation is from January to May. That was why I laid that foundation. We are not going to 2018. Right. Not that we are not going to go
Honorable,
to it.
Just a moment.
We are going to go to it.
Honorable, just a moment. Just a moment, Honorable. Let's take our first break on the program. Just a moment. Let's take our first break on the program. And when we come back, we'll talk more about this matter. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, has been talking to us from our Abuja studio. And here is, in our Lagos studio, is Mr. Onyekachi Ubani, a lawyer. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight on this NDDC matter. Honorable Kalu, if you could read that paragraph 7 again, I have a feeling that Mr. Ubani couldn't pick some of those things you said as regarding paragraph 7. We'll show to our viewers again that paragraph 7 and the issue that you picked up on that. Could you read it again?
Thank you very much, Sean. Before I read paragraph 7, I want you to read paragraph 3, sub 2. It says, I never referred to members of the 9th National Assembly as beneficiaries of NDDC contract, as NDDC is yet to fully implement any NDDC budget since the commencement of the 9th National Assembly. And you can go on and on. That is paragraph 3, subparagraph 2. You will see it clearly written there. I don't know what else you want the minister to say. He has already said in paragraph 3, subparagraph 2, I did not say so. If my colleague there is saying that the minister said so, I wonder where he's driving the source of his information from, especially when paragraph 7 that I've mentioned to you before, where you remember the issue has been, is this 60%? When you say that National Assembly is the most beneficiary of NDDC budget, and you went on to say a project, and went on to say that 60% of it goes to National Assembly, it means that you have made a very grievous statement. And because you came back and said two members, that is 2 chairmen, are the ones who are aware of this. 2 does not constitute most in English language or in mathematics. 2 journalists cannot be most journalists in the country. And that is what we're debating. Is it 60% most of the project, or 2% or 3%? But he even went on to say that the 9th Assembly had nothing to do with it. So the chairman of the committee in the 9th Assembly that is investigating activities that took place in the 9th Assembly, has been exonerated. So why are you giving us a statement that took place in 2018 that we are not referring to? We are talking about activities of January to May. And
All
that
right.
is what
So,
we want
Honorable,
the answers to.
yeah, let me allow
us to 2018.
All right, let me allow the lawyer, Mr. Ubani, to respond to it. How do you respond to
I
it?
think Honorable Ben Kanu is just speaking what, will suit him without looking at the entire content of the letter. It's very important we go through this letter. And it's specific. If you look at paragraph 4, it says, it has been known that the 2 chairmen of the committees on NDDC, which is even the letter that the speaker read in both chambers, yearly exhibit unusual influence to the exclusion of committee members and even the management of NDDC in appropriating funds to details embellished in the budget after passage of line items at the plenaries. In the 2019 budget, the executive director project forwarded to me the attached list of 19 contracts, old contracts, amounting to almost 9 billion after tax, that the House of Representative Committee Chairman on NDDC, Honorable Tunji Ojo, insisted that the IMC of NDDC must pay before 2019 budget details could be released to the Commission. Now, if one chairperson has up to 19 contracts, asking that those contracts be paid, then the man also who is heading the Senate committee chairperson, has over 20 of a contract, maybe assuming it's 100 contract, and then you have 19, and the other person have 20. 19 plus 20, how many is that? That is most. And the issue of 19...
Are they executing the project
They are the one, the source. As I show you the list, the thing that was attached, show their names, which is what I said that the Honorable Minister sent to them. He has all the names of these particular members of the House, both committee chairmen, both Senate and
aside the 2 chairmen.
There are other members of the House that are there, including some powerful politicians, if they release this list. And that's why, listen, let me tell you what happened in the House. In the morning, the Speaker was saying that he has referred this particular matter to the clerk, asking that lawyers should be engaged, to initiate a criminal perjury and civil defamation against Godswill Akpabio, when he has not gotten the letter. The moment the letter came that has this list of all the members that are implicated, remember how the Speaker ended. He said, this matter is now rested. I will now refer this matter to the Ethics and Privileges Committee. So which means this matter has died a natural death. You cannot initiate any criminal prosecution or civil prosecution when the minister himself has names of members of this present House that are here.
So let's be clear to Nigerians in your explanation so that we allow the honorable member also to respond to you. That's correct. So when you said that these lawmakers are benefiting, and you said there is not only 2 of them, there are a lot of them.
There are other names that are there, members of the House. But the most important, important thing is the 2 chairmen who were presiding to fine 81 billion. Honorable Ben mentioned 81 billion, mentioned 40. And then let me tell you what happened. The Senate ad hoc committee was investigating 40 billion. The House of Reps were investigating 81 billion, which according to them are missing. Up to now, nobody has found any money that is missing. The Senate now came after investigation and came to a conclusion that the members of the staff of NDDC should refund only 4 billion. And then IMC should be dissolved. And then NDDC now should now be taken away from the Ministry of Niger Delta and be taken to the SGF. In other words, no 40 billion was found anymore missing because they wanted to find 40 billion, no more 40 billion. They were interested in their findings of ensuring that NDDC goes back to the presidency. Whereas President Buhari, in his infinite wisdom, has asked, take this thing away from the presidency. Let it be domiciled in Niger Delta Ministry. Let's
clear this.
So it's very important we find...
Now, the lawmakers' anger is that none of their members benefit.
That's what they said.
That's the position of
we are saying by my own finding, their names are there.
Apart from the two chairmen, who are the others?
I won't mention them because this is, they have it.
So you need to mention
them. They're here. They have it. They have it. They have it. Let them publish
listen to millions of
listen to me, sir. Mr. Ben.
Yeah.
Kano, the person that is in charge of information in Federal House of Reps, has this particular document. It was given to the clerk of the house. So they have it. Let them release it to the members of the public. It won't come from us.
Honorable Kalu, do you have that information, according to Mr. Ubani, that implicates members of the National Assembly as beneficiaries of NDDC contracts?
Like I said, in law, we always ask for diligent prosecution. And diligent prosecution means you should get your facts right before coming to the public to deceive the public or waste the time of the court. But with due respect to my senior colleague, he's wasting the time of Nigerians and your airtime. What is he referring to? What I have here is a document presented by the minister, the original document. I challenge him, since he went through the record, to mention a page here that has the name of the honorable members in this ninth assembly that constitutes 60% of the project, of NDDC.
Can I make a correction?
Please. So since you challenge him, Honorable Kalu, let him respond to him. He said he has challenged you. Honorable, just a moment. He said he has challenged you to name the members of the ninth assembly. If you could do that.
Mr. Ben, in the letter you read, which you say you have the original, it has all the annexures. You have annexure B, you have annexure C, you have annexure D. They are all there with you. Have you gone through that list to know whether your members' names are in that list that was sent to you, sir? I want to ask you that question. Be sincere to Nigerians. You say I'm wasting the time of Nigerians. Be sincere. All the annexures you have, did you go through the list and you did not see the name of the members of your house that are there in that particular list?
As a citizen of Niger Delta, you are doing a disservice to the region.
Don't insult me. Just respond to my question. No, the question is,
contract of the NDDC goes to the members of the National Assembly, and I'm asking you, even if the minister mentioned 2 members, does 2 members constitute 60%? And I want to tell you that the name of the chairman of the committee of NDDC in my house, I cannot speak for the Senate, it's not on this document that I'm holding here. Moreover, this document is 2018 document. It has no relevance to what we are discussing about the money that has been lost between January and May. It has no relevance. If we were before the court, it will not be admissible. It will be flinged out of the court.
All right. So, Honorable, let me. So he said, can you prove to us, Mr. Ubani, that name or names of any member of the Ninth Assembly is there, or any of them implicated in that document?
It was important that the chairman of the House of Reps committee on NDDC, Mr. Honorable Ojo, recused himself. You remember the first day that the professor appeared before him, he said he cannot, take any questions from him because he is implicated. You cannot be a judge in your own case. You are oversighting a particular agency in which you have so many contracts. The honorable minister alleged here that this person brought 19 contracts that he wants to be paid before he can handle 2020 budget. He made it here. It's open, and that letter was sent to the speaker. That was not read. It's here in this particular place that out of the contract that this man brought 20. So if you don't pay me this particular money, I will not handle your budget for 2020. And he made that allegation. Has he denied? I said, out of a contract of 100, you alone, one single individual. Then in the Senate, the man also over, 10, contracts. And other members of this, and they have the list, and they have all the list, and they refuse now to disclose this list to the members of the House.
Apologies.
Please,
aside the chairman,
yes. And refuse to release it.
Aside the chairman, on
yes.
the list that you're talking about,
yes.
is any member of the House's name on that list?
There's other members of the House that
Can
are
you
there.
tell us?
I won't tell you that. I won't tell you. They have it. They have the list.
If you won't tell us, so why?
No, Mr. Ben knows why, because this is something that was sent to them, and it was expressly explained the reason why it was sent to them, and that if they desire, let them go to court against Gospel Akpabio, either criminally or civil. Then these things will be made open.
Okay. So if Honorable Kalu, let me because we need to wind down on this matter now. Honorable Kalu, you have those documents.
There's no winding down. Please, Shehu, please let me say something.
Go ahead.
It is the responsibility of the House to attract projects in their various constituencies. And the letter said awarded. There must be, the paragraph 4 he's talking about, he said some were beneficiaries, some were awarded to the two chairmen of both committees and not the rest of them. Every member of the House of Representatives from the region has the right to say, I have need for water for my people, or electricity for my people, or road for my people. When you submit that particular application and it is attracted to the particular constituency, it does not mean that immediately that you are the one that the contract has been awarded to. It's just that you have carried out your representative function to attract projects to your area. Anybody could have done that. If you go through this list, you see other meaningful members of the society writing to NDDC and saying, bring this project to my place. I saw the ones written by Alex Oti. I saw the one written by some other eminent personnel. What, are they members of National Assembly? No. Does the company belong to them? No. They're only saying, I have done a need analysis of my area. I want project to be done to help ameliorate the pain of my people. That does not mean that they are, for you to be able to establish if a person is a member of the company. In law, we have a process.
I need to respond to you.
Just calm down.
Corporate veil.
Yeah.
And for you to leave the corporate veil, you need to go to CAC. CAC will give you the list of directors of the company. The names of the companies that are being referred to in this document are here. All I expected them to do as a ministry or those that have been asked to go and defend them was to go to CAC and get the directors list of all these companies and begin to link them to the members of the National Assembly before they can come up and say, members of the National Assembly are the beneficiaries of this 60% of all the projects in the Niger Delta. I need to respond.
Honorable Kalu, just a moment. Let me allow Mr. Ubani.
I need to respond. I need to respond.
Hold on, Mr. Ubani. Hold on,
19 projects.
Hold on, Honorable. We need to take this one after the other. Honorable Mr. Ubani, if you react.
Yes, over the years. And that is why it is important that this particular forensic audit goes on in NDDC. Over the years, they have seen NDDC as a honeypot. And most of the members of the committee that do what we call oversight function have always used NDDC as their honeypot, taking so much out of the system. And that is why there is no development, any single development whatsoever, with the trillions that this particular body has been budgeted for over the years. And that's why the presidency took it out. And the new minister want to carry out a forensic audit. They are against it. They started with allegation of 81 billion. Up to now, no 81 billion has been found. They started with allegation of 40. Nothing has been found. Up to this point in time. The next thing now, please allow me. The next thing they now say that NDC should be taken away from the Niger Delta Ministry. So what I'm saying is that these members, you see, members of the House, over the years has been the people in touch. Please, allow me. You cannot direct me on what to say, Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben, allow me. Allow me. You allow me to say, please. Allow me. You don't direct what I say. Over the years, 60% he said, you even misquoted him. He was talking about Cairo, Dr. Cairo, who is a medical doctor. The question, why would you have a medical doctor as a project director? Said, because of this COVID-19, almost everything that is almost 60%. Please. He didn't say so.
You have considered. You have considered. You've
He
considered.
didn't say. What he said is,
Honorable, so that Nigerians can get the essence of
oh,
what we're
the
talking
discussion.
about.
You are interrupting me. It's not
just
fair.
a moment, Honorable.
The man says
I like
almost
you to clear
60% of the pandemic. I mean, of the
just a moment, Mr. Ubani. I need you to clear this. He said most of these lawmakers
Yes.
are directing these projects to their areas.
Yes.
They are lobbying those projects.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point.
That is what he's making reference to.
Can I answer you?
Can you prove
Beautiful.
that these lawmakers benefited
for
their own personal reasons?
Why would one senator, why would one House of Rep member be attracting over 40 contracts to his own constituency? Does it mean there are no other representatives?
By law, is that wrong?
It's wrong. Why would only you? It means that there is some more to it. Where are there no other senators attracting 40? Only you. Only one person alone. You, as a senator, attracting 40. That's what he's saying. And then you now come and exert undue influence and say, if you do not pay these particular contractors, I will not handle your budget. They've been doing it, this oversight function. And we need to expose what has been going on over the years under PDP era, which this government tried to... Please, it's important I point this out. The point is this. These particular members of the House over the years have been interfering with the governance of Nigeria, especially when they do this oversight function. When you bring your budget, they will not pass your budget, and they give you a condition. And the condition precedent is that you must settle them, or they give them a contract, or you employ their nieces and cousins in their this thing before they give you. These are things we need to stop. And that's how they have rendered the NDDC moribund, useless, ineffective, because of undue interference. And this is what this particular forensic audit want to expose. And they don't want it.
All right.
As I'm speaking to you now, they have not approved the budget of NDDC, and they have gone on 3 months holiday.
Right. Just a moment. Honorable Kalu, you were going to raise a point. Quickly, if you can do that, so that I'll allow him to respond to that.
Yes, in law, I'm happy that he's my senior colleague. In law, we say he that alleges must prove. The issue of perception of the National Assembly has been, throw up one allegation or the other on them, and then, they will run away. But this Ninth Assembly is different. And somebody like me, I am ready, because I'm the image maker of the National Assembly. If I see the lie, I will expose it. If I see the truth, I will tell it. And I can tell you, my senior colleagues, you don't have facts. You are just alleging, to shift the focus. The scope of our investigation is January to May. I keep maintaining that. And what he stated under oath was 60%, and most of the contract of NDDC goes to members. You have not been able to address that. You said a member attracted project. I said it is representative function to do so. You claim one of the chairmen, which is an allegation, because he can assert anything, he can claim anything in his letter, but it's left for him to prove. The member has said, which is the chairman of the committee, has said, I never did so. Even if he approach anybody and say, pay, it's allowed. They go to speaker, they go to Senate president, they go to governors and say, I'm being owed. Please speak to the agency that is under you to please pay me my money. I don't see anything wrong with that. It doesn't mean if anybody stands in the gap to ask for those who have done their job legitimately and executed their contract to be paid. I don't think anything is wrong with that.
All right, Honorable, let me allow Mr. Ubani for fairness of time. No, because of for fairness of timing.
Yes, the point is, I will plead with the president of the country not to listen to what is going on, because people who are investigating this particular issue of NDDC, they are all compromised. We need, if possible, a special panel to look into NDDC, starting from the time of when it was under the PDP government up to this point. That is when you know how much money has been spent, which has not in any way benefited the people of the Niger Delta. He's talking about from January to this, and he's looking for 81 billion. Ask him whether he has seen any 1 billion missing that cannot be accounted for. The Senate has concluded their own, and they found only, according to them, only 4 billion. Meanwhile, what they were interested in is their recommendation that NDDC should be taken away from the Niger Delta Ministry and be taken again back to the presidency. That has been he has been domiciled there for 15 years without any development in Niger Delta region. So what I'm trying to say, in effect, they have a goal. there is political underlining that is playing out, and not issue of 81 billion. They're not looking for
can
81
you
billion.
tell
They're
the
not
view-
looking for 40 billion.
Mr. Ubani,
they are looking for a way
yeah.
of taking NDDC back to,
All right. As a final,
and continue with what has
as a
been going on
final
over
word,
the years.
as a final, we need to close on this particular matter. As a final word, can you explain to us why you are not able to mention the names on
because
that
the names have been given to them.
No,
They have it.
But you,
they asked. Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah.
Ask the speaker. Ask Mr. Ben. We are waiting for them to initiate the criminal prosecution against Godswill Akpabio, or civil action. Let them try it, because they said the matter is rested. When they now try it, they will now get to know the names of those that are there with them, which he has refused.
And you said the names of powerful Nigerians.
They are there. They are there. He knows it. He knows it.
Let's close the program. Let's close this section now. This part of the program. Your final word, Honorable Kalu.
My final word is that Nigerians, we are here to carry out the function given to us by Section 88 and 89 of the Constitution. You called us the rubber stamp. We are doing our job now. You should believe in the integrity of what we are doing. As you know, he has not been able to link us to any of all these allegations, and that has been the practice all these years, that things are thrown up on us, and the National Assembly, because they don't respond on time, because they don't let the public do public engagement, the public are deceived into believing that all those assertions, that they are true. I can tell Nigerians that those assertions are not true. And the minister had already said it. I did not say so. I don't know what my colleague is saying there. We are maintaining our position that this money, we started with 40-point-something billion, and in the process, the AG, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Auditor General of the Federation, the Bureau of Public Procurement reviewed to us more. The CBN reviewed to us more that it was more than what we were investigating.
Okay. Honorable, we need to close now. Thank you so much.
No.
Yeah.
I want to say, on the issue of perjury,
we need to go now. We don't have more time. We don't have more time. Honorable Benjamin Kalu and Mr. Ubani. We need to leave it. We need to leave it at that. Thank you, gentlemen. Honorable, we're out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If the need arises.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Honorable Kalu and Mr. Ubani. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you.